When you move to a new country, familiar foods and drinks often take the edge off of cultural stress. And in most places in the world, hot drinks are one of those little luxuries that humans like to indulge in once in a while, sometimes more than once in one day. In North India, chai is, of course, the most common hot beverage. Coffee has been around in India for quite some time, and in recent years, coffee shops are becoming as prevalent here in Delhi as they are back in America. And as much as we love chai, every now and then coffee is one of those cultural comforts we enjoy. In this episode of American Indian, we want to explore the growing and booming coffee industry in Delhi, highlight some coffee shops and roasters who are based here in Delhi, share the process of roasting, and give a little background on the history of coffee here. All that and more in this month's Coffee in Delhi edition of American Indian.
We're an American family living in India. We love food, film, language, culture, and making new friends. Join our adventures from America to India and beyond.
To get us started on our Delhi coffee adventure, let's take a brief look at the history of coffee from America to India and beyond. And since we think visual aids make this sort of thing a little more interesting, we're going to have help from our very own paper pals, voiced by Satya.
5 facts about coffee from America to India and beyond. 1. Coffee is quite a cross-cultural origin, at least in legend going back way to the 9th century, from a goat herder of the Oromo people in Ethiopia to an exiled sheik from Yemen. But the cross-cultural spread of coffee really took off between the 14th to 16th centuries when it spanned the Middle East and North Africa. 2. It is believed that the first coffee beans to be smuggled out of the Middle East way back in the 1670s by an Indian Sufi named Baba Budan. So India was a home for coffee, even before Italy, which is pretty cool because we usually think of Italy when we talk about coffee. But India beat Italy to the punch, or brew in that case. 3. The Dutch East India Company pioneered coffee importing, starting crops in Java, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. It's because of their activities in Java that even today some still refer to coffee as Java. 4. Coffee became big in America, especially during the Revolution and the period following. The taxes on tea were one of the contributing factors to the revolution, so coffee began to act as a substitute. And of course, Britain used India to create their tea empire in an effort to break the Chinese monopoly on it. 5. Sufi monasteries in and around Yemen were instrumental in the development of the drink. So not only was the Sufi reputedly responsible for bringing coffee into India, they may have been responsible for developing coffee in the first place.
Speaking of Sufis, there's a shrine not far from us in Nizamuddin that we've been meaning to visit for a long time. So finally, the night before this episode goes live, we went to observe the Thursday night Qawwalis, a beautiful form of music from the Sufi tradition. Either we should be judged for our procrastination or applauded for our turnaround time. Just around the corner from the shrine, there's a great little coffee and tea stall run by a new friend, Farid. Farid does a little twist on the standard instant coffee you get on the street by adding a secret ingredient. He just takes instant coffee, mixes it with frothed milk, some sugar, and a bit of butter. And the results?
I would say
It's quite delicious. It's awesome.
Oh wow, that is really different.
So, if you go to Nizamuddin Durga, do check out Farid's special butter coffee near the Baoli gate, shop number 58A. Details in the description.
What do you think? Did you like it?
Speaking of the cross-cultural nature of coffee, right here near this Sufi shrine, a little bit of America, India, and the Middle East meet up in the form of the Coffeewala, an American expat passionate about coffee who started his own coffee roasting business right here in conjunction with some locals.
The city we were in, there wasn't really a good coffee place. The only one that, we would occasionally go to was Cafe Coffee Day. There really wasn't 100% Arabica that they were using. And at that time, I was thinking Starbucks is the thing. And so we would bring all this Starbucks with us when we'd go on a visa run to the US, or we would have friends bring us Starbucks. And we're spending like, $12, $15 a pop. A friend of mine had a popcorn popper, a hand-turned popcorn popper. I personally thought it tasted terrible. It was really, really sour. I realize now that he wasn't roasting it dark enough, and so that was why it was tasting like that. But it got me thinking, wow, I wonder if I could find a way to buy green coffee and just roast it here in India. Then I would always have fresh coffee. Bought 60 kilos of coffee from Chikmagalur, Karnataka, started roasting. And it started tasting really good, and I was like, wow, I don't even need to take green coffee from the US anymore. India's got great coffee, you know? Testing it out on friends, and the friends were like, yeah, you should sell this. And so we just kept on growing and growing, and I wanted to design this company based on just using simple methods, having it be more of a lean startup. I've never lost a roast to electricity going out because I can keep going. Another thing that's really nice about it being gas is that even in the cold weather, in the hot weather, I can have some level of consistency and control. So it's just really nice to be able to keep things simple. I feel like in India, keeping things simple it's so much easier to get things done. One of the other ideas I have was to have an internship, and I'll teach them how to roast, how to package the coffee, how to prepare the coffee. So it's a way to just expose people to the taste of real coffee. I've been living predominantly in a Muslim community, and so there's some misconceptions about coffee being a Western drink. So it's been really fun to expose my interns just to the history of coffee and how Islam began to spread. Coffee spread with Islam. And so the first coffee house wasn't somewhere in Europe or the United States. The first coffee house was in the Ottoman Empire in Turkey. Actually, coffee came to India 50 years before it came to America. Cool history. It's great to just sow that pride in India that coffee's an Indian drink. It was an Indian drink before it was a US or a European drink. I have an Indian partner, and so as we transfer ownership to him, it's going to be a transition time. So that's why we're encouraging customers to use the website. I'd love to see it continue to be this thing where people can just call you up and say, hey, will you send me two bags of medium dark roasted coffee? You know? And we use a courier system here, so a lot of people think that I only supply to Delhi, but actually we have customers as far as Bangalore, Hyderabad. We have customers from Shimla, Dehradun. So we're able to ship anywhere in India.
For all you foreigners coming to Delhi worried that you need to load up your suitcases with coffee, never fear, for the Coffeewala is here. And in the next 2 segments of our Coffee in Delhi episode, you'll find even more reasons to free up space in your suitcases, because coffee in Delhi is booming. From the local roasting of the guys at Finca and their Busy Bean coffee shop in Gurgaon, to Blue Tokai, Devans, and all the major chains, there are plenty of options. On the next segment of American Indian, we join a friend to experience some of the most famous coffee haunts in New Delhi's traditional hub of commerce, Connaught Place. Rohan takes charge of an auto, and we swing by one of Delhi's first coffee roasters, Devans South Indian Coffee and Tea. All that and more on the next installment of this month's Coffee in Delhi edition of American Indian. If you simply cannot wait until next week to see the rest of the episode, click here to support the show. Even the smallest of donations will get you access to the whole episode, which you can download and view ad-free. Please don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out my husband's Dancing All Around Delhi in collaboration with YouTube India's best pranksters, the Trouble Seeker team. Or click here to check out our latest parody trailer of Ajay Devgan's new film Action Jackson. Until next time, keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, and keep it constructive, YouTube. Thank you very much.